And he'll it through top of the sixth, and it's Lloyd again. Try to chip the keeper.
I want to thank Carli Lloyd for scoring all the goals this tournament.
What an unbelievable moment.
It feels great to be a world champion.
She's done things no man has done. The only person to score 2 game-winning goals in a World Cup. She notched a hat-trick in only 16 minutes in a World Cup final. Carli Lloyd, the face of women's soccer. Her journey to becoming one of the best in the game has not been an easy one, both professionally and personally. Her new book is out. When nobody was watching, my heartfelt journey to the top of the soccer world. This book, a reflection of her turnaround in life and her career. The co-captain of the U.S. women's national team, Olympic gold medalist and World Cup champion, Carli Lloyd, joins us here on SportsCenter. Thank you for joining us. I know it's been a crazy few days for you. We've seen you everywhere. But I want to ask you about this book in terms of the timing. Why'd you write it now?
Scored 3 goals in the World Cup, and the opportunity came out of that. I was just contacted by my agent and said there were publishers interested. And I think what's really great about this book is that when I started this journey back in 2003 with my trainer James Galanis, he told me, make sure you're journaling from the start of your national team career. Make sure you journal. I believe that is in the book as well, because he said we're going to write a book one day, and I'm like, yeah, right. But good thing I was journaling, because I don't have a great memory, and a lot of those journals came in handy in putting together this book.
You bring up your trainer, James Galanis, and he's a lot of the reason for your success. You were cut by the U21 national team, and then you started working out with him, and your whole life changed. But it wasn't easy when he first took a look at you working out, according to your book. He said some tough things to you, things that you probably have never heard anyone say to you. How did that make you feel, that he was critiquing you physically, mentally, even your drive for the game?
You know, I think it's always a way of how it's approached and how he kind of says it. He said it in a way where, I don't know, I felt belief in him. I felt like he was in my corner, and I felt like he was just real and honest. And so for the first time in my career, I had a coach who was telling me I wasn't good at things. All of my life, I had coaches who were telling me, you're great, you're great, you're great. And then when you actually get cut, or a coach doesn't think you're great, you don't know how to deal with it. So James was like, look, this has got to be your number one. If you do that, and if you turn all your weaknesses into strengths, you can go on and become the best player in the world. And so I just was like, okay, when do we get started?
Is that what motivated you, though? Because in your book, you say you actually did lose passion for the game. You weren't sure if you even wanted to play anymore. What triggered it? How did he get you to want this again?
Well, I think it was the first time that I had dealt with adversity. It was the first time I had dealt with any sort of criticism. I'm, 21, 22 years old, and I'm like, okay, well, I got cut, so I'll just finish out my collegiate career at Rutgers, and then that's that. I didn't know how to get through any challenging moments. I didn't know how to be a fierce competitor and say, okay, I'm gonna stick it to him, and I'm gonna come back and prove him wrong. So that's kind of what had happened. And then after speaking with James, I thought, here's the first time in my career where I have somebody who sort of has a plan. Hey, the first goal is to make it back on the under-21 national team, to start, to do well, and then we'll work our way in getting you on the full women's national team.
One of your closest friends, Hope Solo, she was suspended from the national team for her comments after your loss to Sweden. What's your take on that?
Well, the comments that Hope made, obviously, the media is just pulling out, the one word, and I read her whole quote. It was a very lengthy quote, heat of the moment. I know Hope is so competitive. She wouldn't be, the player and person she is today if she wasn't. And her comments were about the style of play. She wished Sweden had come out and played. But that's the game of soccer. They tactically did that. That was their way of being able to beat us. And so I think that, her comments were, the sum of everything. The suspension came from everything that I think has kind of gone on in her career, and it might have been the last straw to everything.
Do you think she's been unfairly criticized for that, though, or do you think that's because she's had numerous incidents?
Yes, I think she's had numerous incidents. Like I said, if this was just one thing, that the first thing that happened, maybe she gets a little slap on the wrist. But yeah, it's unfortunate. It's sad. I mean, sit right across from her on the bus. So when we played our last 2 games, it's just weird that, you know, she's not there.
You mentioned that you went to Rutgers University to play soccer there because you wanted to be close to your parents. But in this book, you reveal that you don't have a relationship with them anymore. Is that currently the same status of your relationship with your parents?
It is, yes. It's been hard. It's been hard to open up about this. You know, I'm a very private person. You know, you check out my social media feed. It's really all about soccer. Mm-hmm. It doesn't go anything, you know, any deeper than that. So it's been really, really hard. I've been saddened by it all. You know, I've had some conversation with my mom through email, just in regard to the book, and you know, just letting her know about everything. And I will send him a copy. But you know, hopefully in the near future things can kind of work out.
The common conflict in the state of New Jersey is John Bon Jovi or Bruce Springsteen. People debate this all the time, so I'm asking you, Bon Jovi or Springsteen?
I'm gonna have to go with Springsteen, and I think he came out with a book this week too, so I have to maybe possibly meet him.
You guys will run into each other, you can get his autograph, you can get yours, it'll all be well. I'm sure he would love to meet you. Carli, thank you so much for joining us. Full disclosure, I grew up in New Jersey. I played on the club soccer team. I was once very lazy doing drills, and my coach said to me, you can't be lazy until you start having the skills like Carli Lloyd. And we knew about you when we were 12, so that's how much of a superstar you were.
And I was even lazier back then, so it's so funny.
Thank you for joining us. Good luck to everyone.
Thank you. Appreciate it.